Make it a holiday to remember with color-rich acrylic fleece tops from Kmart. We're talking Kmart. Hit it. It was the 1980s. Teen Wolf hit the theaters. U2 sang Sunday Bloody Sunday, and Kmart had blue light specials and holiday deals. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s, toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me are two Totally Rad Christmas all-stars. My first guest you'll know from the Tubular Pop Culture Roulette. It's Nicholas Pepin. Nicholas, how's it going?
How's it going?
It's good. It's good to see you, man.
Ready to talk some Kmart.
yeah. This one I'm excited for. I have some very vivid memories about Kmart's that we'll get to. But how are you? How have you been?
Oh, it's still fun up here in Wisconsin. Where March is. Last Sunday we had 5 inches of snow, and then Monday it was 60 degrees. So
yeah, that sounds about right. Here, Sunday, or when was it? Monday, it was like 90 degrees, something like that. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing. But 5 inches of snow doesn't sound too bad right about now, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Next is a longtime friend of the show and frequent collaborator, Vinnie Brzezinski. Vinnie, what's happening?
Jerry, I'm trying to survive that heat wave that you were just talking about. Now we're trying to survive the tornadoes and hail.
I know, yeah.
So we've been safe, but I'd rather talk about Kmart than being struck by a ball of hail.
Yeah. Some places got some hail the last couple of days, and it's just we're lucky that my area in Arlington, and I guess your area too, that's a little bit lower lying, so some of the stuff kind of passes us by. But it's crazy. This has been an odd March because it has been cold, and now it's starting to heat up.
It's
again.
been unseasonably cold all year down here, and then it's like, and I know we don't really get it, but at least Nick, you get the seasons. We get straight from cold to summer part one, summer dash
right.
one.
Yeah. When I used to live in Florida, it was we only had 2 seasons. It was rainy and not so rainy.
That's right. Here it's hot and not quite as hot. So as you probably can figure out, we're here to talk about Kmart. Now, before we do that, just like Carol Kane did to Bill Murray and Scrooged, I want you to hit me with the toaster. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to hit me with the first things that the first answers you come up with. So what would you title a Hallmark movie set in Kmart?
Oh, I should have seen this coming. Blue Light Love.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So the first thing that I know, it's not 80s, but the first thing I ever think about when Kmart was ending was those Ship My Pants commercials. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do remember those commercials.
Ship My Pants Christmas would be what I call it. And I made sure I enunciated so I didn't make this R-rated. Yeah,
with the P. Yes. Those are both good. Yeah. Okay. Into which 80s Christmas movie would you insert a Kmart? So, like, if you could put a Kmart in one of those 80s Christmas movies, which one would you put it in?
Lethal Weapon.
Well, back in the 80s, you probably still could buy handguns and stuff at a Kmart. So,
I guess the easiest one would be just to pull out Walmart and put in Kmart for Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah. Or A Christmas Story, and when they go to Higbee's instead, they go to Kmart.
Right.
Yeah. But I like all those. Those are great. Okay, and finally, which 80s movie character is most likely to shop at Kmart?
It has to be an 80s movie?
Yeah.
Christmas?
It doesn't have to be Christmas, just any 80s movie, a character from any 80s movie.
Nick, I don't know if you want to go because I'm drawing a blank here.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a cop out because I literally just used the answer, but I mean, it also makes the most sense. Randy Quaid's character from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do too.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
But no, but if I had to go with a number 2, I guess they're 80s, but I would say maybe the Wet Bandits. I think Joe Pesci would be hitting up some Kmart for his
I'll allow it.
His supplies. Yeah.
I
don't think Peter McAllister would because that stuff is too expensive.
No way, man. That dude is
the McAllisters were clearly shopping at Target.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He freaked out over a $2 fishing hook, so I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, but fish hooks. I don't know. I feel like that he probably he might have got them for $2, but I bet they were like way more expensive. Like it's just his hookup that got him for $2, right? Anyway, well, that's just a way for our listeners to get to know you guys a little bit better. So thank you for that. Now, tonight, we're here to talk about Kmart.
Kmart says all that glitters isn't gold. It's brass, mellow, gleaming brass. Discover its beauty in Kmart's brass-plated lamp collection with classic pleated shades. Add their warmth to your home today. Kmart's brass-plated lamp collection. The look is special. The price is special. At Kmart.
Kmart, we've got it well, we've got it good.
What do you guys remember about Kmart? Like, what's your history or experience with it? Why don't we start with you, Nicholas?
I am old enough to remember when Kmart was the leader, like it was the king. Like Walmart and Target were the up and comers. Like, I mean, Target was actually, I don't remember when Target started, but like in my area, we didn't get Target until much later.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Kmart was the place to go, when I was a kid growing up.
Nice.
I mean, up here in Wisconsin, when I moved to Burlington, the Kmart in town like closed like a month before we moved in.
Oh no, that's a bummer.
The one that was a little further out, like it just closed in the last couple of years. But yeah, it was just like, yeah. But I mean, it was by that point, like going to Kmart was sketchy. Yeah.
Right.
But I remember when Kmart was like the place,
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Vinny?
So, like Nick said, we didn't have Walmart or Target in my area. I grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania, the area of the office, Scranton, right? So,
okay.
Walmart was out to like 93, and I don't even know when Target was. But we had a whole bunch of other chain departments, these stores, right? So we had Kmart. We had a place called Hills, which was epic. We had one called James Way, which is another one, and I'm missing another one. So I remembered Kmart for specific things, right? We would go to one
Right.
for one thing, one for the other. Like toys was Hills. Like their slogan was Hills is where the toys are, right?
Oh wow.
But Kmart, we would go for like either the electronics, like a CD, or at that time it was tapes, records, TVs,
Right.
or fishing stuff or sporting goods, right? You would go there for fishing or any of that kind of stuff. So
okay.
that's how I remember it. But it's still a vivid memory in there, but it was kind of split up. Like it depended on what you were going for.
I gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of did that too. Like you'd go to certain department stores for certain things, but I'm kind of right there with you guys. We did not have a Target till like mid 90s. There was one in Corpus Christi, which is about 2.5 hours away. We did have Walmart and we did have Kmart. And of course we had like a mall and a few other things here and there. Didn't have Hills. So I've heard of it. I think we talked about one of the, what was it? One of the commercials. Okay. Anyway, Vinny, I think you and I talked about one of the commercials. Is that right?
For which one?
For Hills. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Didn't we watch a Christmas commercial? Yeah, that's like the most I know about that one. But Kmart was one that we had, and I have like very specific memories. So the first time I saw Ninja Turtles was at a Kmart. And we would always go, and I would always make my parents like go to the toys because, kids, they always want to go look at the toys. So went to the toys, and there, just in the aisle, just stacks of Ninja Turtles hanging off pegs. They had, a few things here and there. And I just remember grabbing Leonardo because he had the sword. So I thought he was like the coolest one. And I ended up it was actually I think around payday, so I was able to actually come home with the Leonardo, so that was a plus. But
Nice.
I remember that. I remember the Superpowers line by Kenner. I don't know if you remember that. It was like Batman, Superman, all the Justice League figures plus like Darkseid and a bunch of villains. And so I remember at Kmart seeing the toy of Cyborg and wanting it so bad, but I did not get to take it home that time. So I never got Cyborg. Now, if you like hunt for him, apparently he's pretty rare and he's like really expensive now. So I wish I had a Cyborg because I still have like my Superpowers Batman and Robin and a Batmobile like right up there in the closet. So it would have been like so awesome to have Cyborg too, but oh well. But I just remember the toys. I remember toys at Kmart.
Yeah, I remember the toy because I mean that your parents felt like you were safe going to Kmart because like there was other stuff than just toys. Like you couldn't go to Toys R Us because that
Right.
was just toys. Like they weren't getting out of there without something. But like you
Right.
Kmart, they could drop you off in the toy section, go do whatever, and then come back. But I remember the GoBots and the Transformers.
Oh man, all of them. Yeah. Now I was talking with my parents and they were saying that they remember the toys being a little bit more expensive there than at some of the other places. But what they would do is after Christmas, like the toys they would just have sale and sale and sale. They would just keep going lower and lower. And so my dad would buy a lot of like his starting lineup figures. And we would get a lot of our toys on sale after Christmas. My parents would buy some of them and save them and like use them for our birthdays and different things like that. They were telling me about it. I was like, I don't remember this at all. I just remember showing up and being excited for all the toys. so, um, so a little bit about Kmart. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing else I remembered about it too is they had at the time decent Christmas decorations, right? So
Yeah.
I felt like you had your Sears that had them. You would have maybe like local hardware stores, other places that had it, but I felt like Kmart had a good selection.
Yeah, for sure. So I agree. And the other thing I remember is that later on, especially in the 90s, like they used to have a diner kind of counter, right? But then in the 90s, like they started partnering with Little Caesars, and I remember Little Caesars like popping up in there, and every time we'd go, wanting like just asking Dad, like, "Hey, can we have pizza?" And I mean, we're there for other things. It's like, no, you can't have pizza. Like, come on, we're shopping here. What are you doing? I mean, it's pretty awesome though. Like just being able to grab a pizza while you go. And now they have Pizza Huts and like Targets or their own little counters. But back then, I remember seeing it and being like, "Whoa, this is cool!" Like they have food here too. We could eat, and always trying to get my parents to like take us to the counter.
So I was trying to remember, like, so when we went to Hills, there was always the big icy and popcorn thing. Did Kmart have that too? Do you guys remember?
I seem to remember the Kmart's I went to had like a little like snack bar.
Yeah.
Like like a diner counter, not like a full diner with like a menu, but like, just like your basic, like we can put this 15-year-old in charge of a fry cook,
That's right.
or a microwave without too much risk of bodily harm.
I'm sure it was a lot of microwaves. In the 80s, it was all about microwaves, right?
we can put this one over here and not worry about, him burning the rest of the store down.
Yeah. Well, and in my area, so I was in Edinburgh, and then in McAllen, back then it was like 10-minute drive from Edinburgh to McAllen. Nowadays, it's like you cross the street and you're like in one city to the other, you know? But back then, McAllen had like two Kmarts and both were huge, like just massive Kmarts, even back in the 80s. And then in Edinburgh, we just had like this one small little Kmart. So whenever we were going to go to the one off 23rd, like the big Kmart in McAllen, like we were so excited because they had way more toys. They had like just all the fun stuff you could look at. And I remember they did have like a lot of Christmas decorations back then. And nowadays, of course, Kmart's almost gone like completely from the US. It's kind of sad because I remember when they closed down the Kmart in Edinburgh, it was like mid 90s or early 90s. And then I remember learning my dad taking me to drive and learning how to drive in the parking lot of that old abandoned Kmart. So,
I think the last pop culture reference I remember of Kmart was in the Adam Sandler movie, the one where all his friends lived in the neighborhood. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Grown Ups. Grown Ups too.
oh yeah.
Right, because remember they were hanging out in Grown Ups. Like what was that? Late 2010, 2011. Because I was like, man, there's still a Kmart in New Hampshire. Like, where is there still Kmarts?
Well, one of the most surprising things is when I lived in Florida, I lived in Boca Raton, which is one of like the richer parts of the state of Florida. And they were really particular on like how McDonald's was allowed to have road signs. Like they couldn't be above a certain height. Like certain restaurants had to change the color of their logo to be in Boca Raton. So like Checkers was not the black and white, it was like turquoise and white. Like it was like because you had to match the color scheme of Boca. And there was a Kmart. I to this day don't understand how that Kmart was open in Boca Raton for as long as it was. I mean, it didn't stop me from going there because I wasn't a rich guy. I was the non-rich guy who lived in Boca. Yeah.
right. Right.
So I had to go to Kmart, but
hey, I mean, we got to do what we got to do, Kmart was founded by SS Kresge after he met Frank Woolworth, of course, the owner and founder of Woolworths. And he was inspired, so he invested in a 5 and dime, and it did well enough that he was able to open a store in Detroit. And then in 1912, he incorporated in Delaware with 85 stores, Kresge stores. 1916, he incorporated in Michigan, and by 1924, this is in 1924, he was worth $375 million and owned about $100 million in land. So, like, that's ridiculous. But that's like $1 billion probably, or close to $1 billion nowadays. That's ridiculous. 1924 money. And then in January of 62, he opened the first official Kmart store. And it was 6 months right before Walmart opened. So they were like neck and neck right there. By 1981, the 2000th Kmart had opened. And in 85, Kmart converted one of its in-store cafeterias to a Little Caesars. So that's very important as well. And like you were saying, Nick, just a couple of more facts here, but they were the second largest retailer after Sears until 1990 when Walmart passed them. So it was like Sears, Kmart, and then everybody else. Like that's how huge they were. It was like a big deal. Their first supercenter opened in 91. And then in the early 2000s, this is crazy. Its chairman and its president filed for bankruptcy, and they were accused of mishandling funds and misrepresenting the company's finances. Apparently, there was some shenanigans going on with the money and different investments in jets and private stuff. Bankruptcy, then they merged with Sears, and then eventually filed bankruptcy again. And the last big box store, Kmart, in the U.S. was closed in 2024. So, yeah,
I'd like to see a documentary on the rise and fall of Kmart. Like
I would too. Yeah,
because I mean, like you just said, how many they had 2,000 stores.
Yeah, well, that was in 81. They had 2,000. Okay. I think by the end of 81, it was like 2,065 or something like that.
So I mean, lots of stores, and for them to be like, hey, we're the number 2 retailer in the country. Now, granted, Walmart overtook them, but like just the failure from 1990 to the early 2000s of just that decline, that downfall was astounding. Like the level of bad leadership that place had to
Right?
go through.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of the reason was that they were buying up a lot of like other stores, so like Academy and a few other things. They were like trying to get their hands on all these other different properties that I think they just spent too much money too fast. And then of course you get a corrupt chairman and president, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
You might fall down a little bit, but yeah, so crazy history there, but they were huge for a while. Now, at Christmas time, I do remember lots of toy sales. I remember Black Friday sales. I sent you guys a couple of ad pages, like some of the like circulars that they would run. And it's just a couple of pages here and there. I really don't have the full thing, but I kind of wanted to take a look at some of these, and then I want to look at some of the Christmas commercials that Kmart ran as well. So the first one I sent you was from, I believe, 1983, and it's about it's part of the toy circular, and it says the place where Christmas dreams come true on it, and we got the Return of the Jedi figures, which I loved. I did have that Jabba's playset, and I did have that Luke Skywalker, but those are like the only two that I had there. And then we get like some other things like strawberry shortcake. I do remember that spinning thing. Did y'all have that spinny wheel thing?
Yeah, what was it
The-
called?
the-
The
what, the
sit and spit?
Sit and spin? Yeah.
Sit and spin. Yeah. The sit and spin. Yeah. I remember my cousin had it. I never had it though.
I think my sister had one.
I think I had it. I was just always impressed on how it could be years later, but those strawberry shortcake dolls, my cousin had them.
Yeah.
And they always kept their strawberry scent. Like you knew when she was around with those toys, they kept their scent. Good for them. Probably, it's probably killed us, but yeah, they
Right.
probably had some sort of stuff in there to do that. But yeah, those things smelled like strawberries. Every single one of them.
Well,
I
it's
know-
cool. Oh, go ahead. Go
I know
ahead.
my sister had a ton of those strawberry shortcake dolls. I know when my parents moved in the last couple of years, they unloaded a lot of stuff on me. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming they did the same thing to her. So I'm guessing a lot of that stuff is now in her basement, where a lot of that stuff is now in my basement.
Right. But what I like about this ad is that there's actually like hand-drawn pictures on like in the top right corner. So it looks like it's supposed to be like a garland with like berries, like almost like holly leaves or something. But it's a little girl or a little boy playing with an Ewok.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like an Ewok.
It does look like an Ewok, yeah. But it's hand drawn. It's very cartoony. The Ewok is like yellow for some reason. I can't tell if that's, I mean, I think it's a little girl, maybe, because it's got like a bonnet on, like a red bonnet, but
It could be just a scarf. It's really hard to tell.
yeah.
It kind of looks like it's his top that he's wearing, like that armor, that little. Like if you look at the figure, it looks
Uh-huh.
like it's kind of wearing, but who knows?
Oh, maybe.
They
I
could have
don't
been
know.
skimping on They could have been skimping on the budget and just trying to use certain colors. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's probably true. But like there's Bib Fortuna and Luke Skywalker in his Return of the Jedi outfit, like the all black. Man, it's cool.
It does seem like a weird choice for Star Wars characters. Like
Right.
like we got Luke and then a whole bunch of guys that you maybe will know. Like
Tewanawanga, but you know.
Well, there's probably just trying to promote Jedi.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So it was like, probably putting Princess Leia in a bikini probably wasn't the best ad to do at the time for kids.
I mean,
I would have bought it.
yeah, I would say
Yeah.
Even in 1983, I probably
I
would've.
gotta say, like, I mean, as much as I love Star Wars and The Return of the Jedi is one of the first movies I have a distinct memory of seeing in theaters.
Nice.
I was never really into the action figures because they were so stiff.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
was way more into G.I. Joe because they were much more posable.
Same.
And
Well, the G.I. Joe, they had the swivel arms.
yeah.
They also had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of articulation.
Right.
So these guys just had 5 Like the arms and legs couldn't bend. Of course, they definitely didn't swivel. The head would only turn side to side. And GI Joes were built so that like the head could spin almost like a regular head. The arms would swivel out. You could, you could bend the knees, bend the arms, and so they were a lot more posable. And because of that, I think they were a little more fun. So I'm actually with you there. I only had a few Star Wars figures because the GI Joes you could actually like make them look like they were kicking or doing something real.
Right. Same
Yeah.
thing. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like I'd love to watch the Star Wars movie, but I wanted to play with my GI Joe figures.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And maybe I have a weird smelling fetish, but I always felt like the Star Wars fingers had a little stink to them. Like they had like a hard plastic
It was
smell.
a hard,
like
yeah.
Yeah, where GI Joes didn't. Like they had that smooth texture to them, right? And it was,
Yeah.
and then, but I agree with you. I'd rather watch Star Wars, but then like I would rather a new GI Joe than any of that. And I felt like every Christmas there was like 20 or 30 new GI Joe figures, which was awesome. Like
Yeah.
at least it seemed that way. Like,
Oh
it was
no,
like,
yeah, big time.
yeah.
Yeah, there was like tons of GI Joes. I actually have a buyer's like collector's guide, and like I'm just looking through it. Like I don't remember this guy. I don't remember. I mean, it's crazy.
Somewhere in one of these boxes, I know I've got a bunch of GI Joe figures, and none of them are worth a thing because I played hard with my toys as a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Here's like a Destro from like later on in the line, but they can swivel. Like I said, there's this piece, all the waist because it used the rubber band. They could do that. But
Oh yeah.
anyway,
And then the best were the ones that were the Zartan, and then they changed colors. Remember?
yeah,
Oh.
Zartan would change color. I still don't know why. Like what kind of human was he that he could change colors in the sun?
Well,
I don't know.
He did it in the cartoons as well.
Yeah, but I still don't know why. I guess
Because he
just
was some sort
generic
of
sci-fi villain.
chameleon, I think, if memory. Like he was like not a shapeshifter, but
Like a master of disguise. or
master of
something.
disguise.
Yeah.
And that was the only way they could figure out how to do it. And the toy was like make him change colors. I guess I don't.
I guess so. Let's take a look at the next page. So this is it says festive Christmas fleece tops. I believe this one was from 1989, if I recall. It's definitely late 80s. You can tell from the hairstyle. It also looks a little cleaner, like as far as the whole layout. It's not as messy. It's like one big square with the three girls in it, all wearing the different colored or different design jumpers. They're all white with like red and green designs on them. And looking at these prices, man, I still wish we could buy clothes for like these prices here, because some of these sweatshirts, the large is like $17.97, and I got to buy, I mean, there's no way you're getting a large like fleece top for $17.97 anymore.
Not true. So I'm going to tell you this story. My wife will laugh at this one. So when we go back home for Christmas, there's a store up there. I think we talked about it before, Jerry, but there's one called Boscov's. It's like a local department store. And Nick, you might have the same problem. But you might have the same way up in Wisconsin. But like, it's funny because we call them ugly Christmas sweaters here. They just call them sweaters up there. Like, and there's this place, like every year we would go back home for Thanksgiving or something, and my wife would get her ugly Christmas sweater there in a normal department store, and it'd be like $15. Like it was.
Wow.
And like it was Boscov's, and there's I'm trying to think of the other one that's closed. But we go to Boscov's all the time, and it's just like they would just call it sweaters. They wouldn't even call it Christmas sweaters, and it's just like down in Dallas that would be like $50.
50,
and like
yeah.
She's like, oh, we have a couple Christmas parties. Let's get this, and this. But like all these local these little mom and pop stores up in, that were up there that have these little local department stores. Same thing, like
wow,
the same price, and I'm like, oh, that's still what we pay back home.
Well, I mean, if you wanted your sweat, I mean, there's obviously being that the temperature in Wisconsin is cold. Sweaters sweaters tend to be a little cheaper, but I mean, if you're getting a fleece one, it's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah,
just your average sweater. Yeah, I mean, you can probably get it, a decent one for like $10-15.
Wow, that's cool.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
that's cool.
you're not getting a designer label or anything, but it's
We don't get that cold down here, and when we do, it only lasts like a week or two, tops. So
One thing I've noticed about when I would look back at other stuff, Jerry, too, when we're talking about Toys R Us or any of those other places, I think that is reasonably priced. But like the toys and stuff, I always, I look back at it, I'm like, did my parents really pay that for a GI Joe? Or like, I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, I feel like a spoiled brat now that I go back and look at it, and like some of those prices, you think, oh, it's the '80s, it should be less. But I mean, I'm back and look at some of those toy prices on the other page. I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot for back then, or at least I would think it would be.
well, the Star Wars ones were $344.
But
Each.
I mean, they're just like one little figure. I mean,
Yeah,
to
it's
me, that's
3 3/4 inch, right?
yeah. But I
Yeah,
mean, if you were buying them today, it's like $10.
Oh man, the reaction, like the Super 7 reaction, the GI Joe reissues that they're doing, they're like $20 now. It's, or at least at Target they were $19.99. Just like,
Jeez.
whoa, like no thank you. That's a
I was in
huge.
Walmart. I
That's
was in
huge.
Walmart today, and I saw like my buddy loves WWE wrestling figures, and I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
got a bunch of new ones in, and I saw one of Mr. Perfect. I'm like, cool, let me buy it. And I'm like, not for $24. I'm not.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's like, do I really want this? No, I don't. I don't want
I
it
mean-
that bad.
But this in general, like when later on when we get to the ones with the phones,
Yeah.
I don't remember like the cordless phone is $150. I'm like, for back then, that's a lot. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's probably the
Oh
price
yeah.
of a cell phone.
That's a lot. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's like CD players. Remember when they first came out? I mean, there's even a joke about it in The Wedding Singer, and he's like, it's a CD player. I got it for like $700.
But even like I think you were talking about it, Jared. Maybe it was on your Cobra episode. You did, but like VHS tapes were like $30. Like,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I'm like, this is like thinking back about that. That's crazy. Like, I know it's
Yeah.
media and you have to pay extra money for it, but
I want to say
That's
that like the
nuts.
Terminator 2 one, if I recall, was like $60 or something like that. I mean, it was, yeah, there were some that were just crazy high. And then, the new technology comes out or they improve it, and it's just all of a sudden, you get it for like $11.99. It's a whole different animal. But back
so
then,
it makes
relatively
those
new.
deals that you got at McDonald's a lot better. Like now that you go back and look at it, you're like, oh, you're getting it for $11. That's pricey. Then you're like, well, $30 in the store. You're like, okay.
That's right. Hey, I'll take my Ninja Turtles tapes. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I also sent you one. It was an Easter one because we're close to Easter, so I figured we might as well take a look at an Easter one. This is from also 1983. It was April 2nd, 1983. It was like a circular. This was courtesy of Dinosaur Dracula. He's the one that posted it, but there's a lot of little Easter basket stuff. $2.99 for a Whitman's like candy chocolate sampler. There's a Easter like coloring thing for $1.77. So those really haven't gone up that much. Jelly bird eggs. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, they're good stuff. And then like
I
some
don't know. I don't
weird
know if
drawings.
I'd say good, but I do
Good,
remember
yeah.
them.
Okay, well, I guess to each his own, but like what is it? Chocolate bunnies. There's like some weird drawings of stuffed animals instead of pictures, which I
Yeah,
thought was fun.
Like they've got a weird drawing of Tweety and Bugs Bunny, or at least I feel like that's what they're supposed to be.
I think that's who they're supposed
and
to
they
be.
must
yeah.
be just different enough that they didn't have to pay the rights for that one.
That's right. Well, they're only $4.44 for these.
You mean Bugs Bunny's not a beaver? I mean, that's
His teeth look like it. Yeah.
Yeah, or a vampire. I mean, I don't.
It almost looks like the Tweety bird almost looks like a piñata, like a
Yeah.
like it's that kind of quality, not quite like it doesn't look exactly like what you want, and it looks like a piñata.
His head's almost more of Gossamer than it is of Tweety.
That's right. Yeah. And then just like
I
some
kind-
generic bunnies.
I kind of wonder where this is from because the bottom Easter basket, it looks like the mascot of the Syracuse University. It's like that I don't know. It looks like they call them the orange Syracuse orange.
Yeah, you're right. It
right,
does.
Huh.
But he has a banner that just says "hand puppet."
Yeah, but there's Milk Duds and M&Ms and Sweet Tarts and Peeps. Are those Peeps?
That's gotta be.
But man, that's a like a smoking Easter basket right there.
For $6.97. That's not a. You're not getting that for $6.97 nowadays.
No. The other one also has Whoppers, M&Ms, Tart and Tinies. I don't remember those.
I remember the Tart and Tinies.
Mini
I was a big
eggs.
fat.
Yeah.
I was a big fat kid though, so it didn't help. But those gigantic like Easter bunnies that they have there, those chocolate Easter bunnies. I
Yeah.
remember we used to like every year our hometown would do like an Easter egg hunt, and you'd find the Easter egg, and that would be like your gift. And
Oh,
the
that's
parents
cool.
always hated it
Yeah.
because either one, you're just eating up on chocolate. Those things weren't hollow like you would think they are.
No.
And you bite
Nowadays, a lot
into
of
it,
them are, but
yeah. Back then, you'd bite the ears, and then you would just be like, "Oh no, what do we give ourselves into?"
That's right. Yeah, no, I remember those. Those are like my favorite because it was just a big thing of chocolate, and you're
Glob
like
of
gnawing
chocolate,
at
yeah.
it, just trying to like get
Probably
through
chipping
it.
your teeth. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you have to kind of like move your jaw back and forth, almost like in a saw motion to kind of get through some of it, you know. But anyway, so that's just a couple of the circulars, just to kind of remind us about some of the coolness. Now, I wanted to look at some of these commercials. I'm going to try something. If it doesn't work, we'll just talk about them. But I want to try sharing my screen and watching them. All right, so let's take a look and see if.
Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas from your Kmart Christmas store. Save on bowling balls and skirts, sweaters, rods and wheels and shirts.
Cameras, TVs, bikes and plants, handbags, bath oil, slippers, pants.
Mirrors, perfume, gowns and socks, toasters, roasters, robes and clocks, candy, records, film and toys at Santa Land for girls and boys. Christmas spotlight every face at Kmart's Christmas saving place.
So there was a lot in that one there. I like the logo. It was like Kmart, and then it had like candy canes almost crossed over each other. There was just a lot of little just iconic Christmas things that I thought were really cool.
I like this one the best out of all the ones you sent, mostly
Yeah.
because, like I was saying, everything that we went there for was in that commercial. Cameras, sporting goods, like all flannel shirts, anything like that nature. That's what we would go there for. So that was kind of like the one that hit home out of all of them. The records, like I said, the records, all this kind of stuff. I remember all that stuff more there than toys. So that one hit home more than the other ones did.
I like the jingle. It was catchy. Do 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 do. I mean, just I don't know the words, but I could sing the melody, and I can't say that for a lot of the other jingles that I've heard. But I thought this one worked. I thought it was simple. It was efficient. They said, "Here's all the stuff you can buy." The Santa looked not great, like big old fake beard. Like they didn't try.
80 Santa, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was.
Yeah, they really evolved after that.
I mean, come on, man. Go look at your photo from when you were at the mall. It was the same guy. Like it wasn't far. It wasn't far off.
Smells like beef and cheese.
you sit on a throne of lies, Jerry.
That's right. Yeah, but I thought this one was fun. I put a couple of these commercials together, so let's see what else we got here.
Mom says she wants something personal this Christmas.
I got her something personal last year.
A garburator?
Good cooks would love Kmart's 7-piece Baker's Secret Bake Set, or a romantic value set or cologne trio by Cody. How about an elegant Irish cut lead crystal table lamp? And Kmart has beautiful garland bedding coordinates by TexMade, including no iron sheet sets, on sale now. Kmart, Canada's saving place.
Yeah, so that was a Canadian one. and it was animated, like it had bookends animation, and I couldn't tell if those were like from something that we should have known or not.
It was one of the Sunday morning comic strips. It was it Arlo and
I don't know, but I mean, that's makes
now
sense.
to the
Yeah.
Google machine.
The first thing I thought about this commercial, and this is gonna be funny, but the kid starts talking about mom wants something personal, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I got her something last year. The first thing they showed was a cooking set. What's more 80s and tell your wife to get back into the
That's
kitchen?
right. That's right.
Hey, honey, you want something personal? Go bake me some cookies. Welcome to the 80s. We're still living in inequality times. Here you go.
That's right. Well, and he says garburator, right? Which I think is like what would we call that here in the States? I think that's like a garbage disposal.
Probably.
Yeah. So
yes, that was the comic strip Arlo and Janice that started in 85 and then is still apparently running today.
Wow. Well, they animated it and it was pretty cool. I don't remember that comic strip, but I was a Hagar the Horrible kind of guy.
Apparently it's big in Canada. So
yeah, big enough that they made it into a commercial. So that's from 84. The thing that I noticed about that one is when they're talking about that crystal lamp, and it was like 68, 88.
The Irish cut crystal?
Yeah.
Which is, I was like, wait, what? I've never heard anybody like push like an Irish cut crystal. Like normally,
I don't even know what that means. Like
I don't either. But
if someone were to say that, I'd picture like little like shamrock shaped crystals, just because I don't know, but it seemed expensive, and even back then. So I mean, it was 68, 88. So that's $70. That's probably like what well, it's also Canadian dollars. So
that's a whole level of math I'm not prepared for.
Yeah,
so
you don't know your loonies and toonies? Come on now.
I don't. Yeah, no, never had to. Hope maybe CJ can explain them to me because I don't know which one's which.
Kmart is where America's children come to make America's favorite
So this one's from
and now at Kmart for only $16.95, you get 45 portraits, 15 portrait Christmas cards, 2 8x10s, 3 5x7s, 15 wallets, 9 mini portraits, and a big 10x13. That's 45 portraits for $16.95, including 15 portrait Christmas cards that are America's favorite way to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, 84. So that one was from 1984. It's all just about Kmart's portrait studio, which I didn't remember they had one. I know JCPenney's has had one because we've taken portraits there before, but that's a lot. That was a lot of pictures, I gotta say.
I remember them doing it, and JCPenney doing it, and Sears all did it.
Yeah,
Sears. Yeah.
I don't think we ever did them, but I do remember that they were there.
Oh no, I have very distinct memories of being dragged once a year to Sears or JCPenney's. I don't remember Kmart, but I have very distinct memories of being dragged for many years in a row to one of those two for the family portrait or just the individual portraits.
Well, apparently you can get a great deal at this Kmart portrait studio here.
That's apparently where we should have gone, because I seem to only remember doing what, like I said, JCPenney or Sears. But
I remember because it used to be. Man, I wish I could remember people's names like I could remember parts of a Kmart store from 1984. But if you walked into our Kmart and you walked to the left, back far left of that Kmart section is where they had the photos.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it was like we never really would go over that way, but I remember it was over there. And I don't know why I remember that, but it's where it was.
I don't remember where ours was at all, but I do remember one time we were taking some photos and they were doing it in like a credit union. So like we went to this credit union to get our portraits taken, and that was like they were offering it as a service. So I don't know, man. It was the 80s. It was a wild time. Here, let's check out another one here.
It's the magic of the season. It's the best of times to be at Kmart.
Where can you find just what they always wanted at just what you wanted to pay? You guessed it. This year, more than ever, you'll find Christmas at Kmart.
We've got it, and we've got it good. This Christmas, Kmart, we've got it, and we've got it good.
She like touches his belly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. The outcry that there was a couple years ago when they did the Peloton commercial for, was it Christmas or some?
Yeah.
Would only tell me that commercial would have brought down a level of internet,
Ire.
ire.
Yeah. It's an interesting commercial.
Nothing like fat shaming your husband on a national commercial.
But it's okay, he's gonna make a New Year's resolution and it'll be all right. He'll use his bike or whatever it is he got from there. No, but it had like a little makeshift mantle, right, with stockings, and the stockings were like those generic red felt with white trim kind of stockings, but they looked like that really cheap quality felt, like nothing great. I did like the tree. The tree was cool, but
I know we're gonna sound like homers here, but there was nothing like Christmas commercials in the 80s. Like it just it doesn't matter if it's Kmart, if it was Sears, if it was Toys R Us. I think the only thing nowadays that compares to me, I wait every year for like the Lexus commercials because they always have that jingle, and when I hear that jingle, I know it's getting close. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know you get the Christmas bells, the Hershey Kisses, that they've been around forever. But like, I wait for the Lexus, that little jingle that starts off the Lexus commercial. But they're just not the same as they used to be. It would be, you had waited for them, and I felt like every place had its own Christmas commercial, and that one there was a typical mid 80s. You're a kid, you're watching TV, and you're like, oh, it's Christmas time. There is the Christmas that we know and love.
Well, and you can also see they transition to their other slogan, we've got it and we've got it good, so, I mean, it's catchy. Again, like whoever their jingle writer was great because it's really memorable. But the content of that one, yeah, not so much. Oh, man. Let's see what this one is here.
Christmas is a special time across country and at Kmart because you can save on gifts like this West Bend high-performance food processor, sale priced at just $36.88. Or make someone's Christmas special with a Kmart gift like First Alert's rechargeable Ready Light for $19.88 or compact rechargeable flashlight just $9.88 after manufacturer's rebate. It's America's favorite time of year at America's favorite store, Kmart, the saving place.
So I had that white flashlight. I had it.
Did you really?
No, yeah. That was our fishing light. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like when the little girl was running back into the house, like the beams, the columns were wrapped in red tinsel garland. Like that's not something that you can really do here in Texas. Like the sun will destroy that. That'll end up either orange or pink by the time the season is done.
It's 100% orange. I can tell you for a fact, Jerry, from my bow on my wreath.
Oh no!
That I got from you. I put a bow on it. We put a red one, and about two weeks in, it was orange.
It's the sun. It just beats it, and that's because those are rated like outdoors. And
yeah.
So that's. But I liked it. It was very Christmassy. There was a shot of like the couple on the balcony, which was in silhouette, but the outline of the balcony, like all the posts were lined with lights. They were just little mini lights. So that one I think felt very Christmassy as well, even though they're pushing food processors and all that stuff.
An emergency flashlight. I feel like that's the one that they probably ran like several years in a row. They just changed out the product. Like,
yeah, I'm sure.
Because they were like, we got the stock footage here. Now we'll just insert whatever hot item is this year or whatever we bought, like, too much of. So we're going to push.
Well, the great thing about that flashlight was it tilted, right? So it had a head. And normally if you hit it straight, but if you're out fishing like we were, you could put it down, you could tilt it up. So you kind of had more upward motion here, so you could see what you were doing while you were fishing. It wasn't like you had to bend down to do it.
I remember that my aunt had that flashlight because
Nope.
I remember doing that with it. Like core memory unlocked. I remember like telling scary stories with my cousins, and we would like turn it up. Oh man, that was a cool flashlight.
Was your scary story that the AC went out in July, Jerry? was that your scary story?
Something like that. That happened to us this past year. You know, we had to replace our AC because it went out in May, and we knew we had to get it done quick because by July, you're dead. They're like you're literally just gonna bake in your own house. Oh man.
This holiday, my wife is giving me an AT&T cordless 5210 phone from Kmart. Its sound quality equals AT&T corded phones, and she got it for the Kmart price of just $129.88. So how do I know what it is? Lucky guess.
Kmart celebrates Christmas in America. Want to give a big surprise this Christmas? Kmart has the best. The big button phone from AT&T. It's easy to see, easy to use, and it's just $45.88 at Kmart. Big surprise, little price. Gift box not included. Kmart celebrates Christmas in America.
So that was two quick commercials back to back. So that phone was $129.88. And I believe that was from 1987.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the value converter here.
So it would be $368.44 is what I have.
That's what I'm seeing here.
God.
When I moved into my first apartment in 2003. Yeah, 2003 when I moved from DC to Florida. I bought a cordless phone because I had to have a landline. I think it was like less than $15. Like and I had to go like to the back. I probably had to go to Kmart to find the one place that still sold landlines. Even in 2003, people were like,
yeah,
they're a Radio Shack.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But
that's another one I got to do. Radio Shack.
I don't think we didn't get the cordless probably until 90, 91. But most kids will never know the struggle of having to go in another room in those really long cords. Like,
yeah.
Or trying to get some privacy. Those cords had to be about 50 feet long. Like this is like your kitchen phone. Just have it hanging there. And then you're like,
or trying to untangle it.
Oh, yeah. When they would get tangled, that was the worst. You know, or if you were like just playing with it and it got tangled, and then you're like, okay, well, what did I do? I don't want mom to get mad at me.
I did own one of those too. Let me rephrase that. We bought my grandparents that big button phone. I do remember we did get it for it, and they got kind of irritated. They're like, we're not this old that we don't need. That was like their version of the jitterbug.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Getting them that was like getting my grandmother I used to joke about getting her the jitterbug of my Granny B. She's like, I need a phone for this. I'm like, I'll just get you the jitterbug. And she just looked at me. She's like, all right, you got me that phone back in the day. You're not doing this again for the second time.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see what this one is here. Oh, so this is just images from Christmas at Kmart. Look at those old-timey cash registers.
So this did trigger something for me. I'll wait till this over. But
Merry, Merry Christmas banners. I mean, the lines. Lots of cash. I mean, I imagine there was a lot of cash going on because credit cards were still. I mean, there were some. Oh, look at those. Tinsel garland around the trees. It was white, a red, and a gold. Blocks wreath. Oh, all right. Well, that might be it.
So, if I remember correctly, and I was too young to be doing this, but if I remember, Kmart was big with layaway, right?
Yes.
So most people, I mean, now the younger people are like, "What the heck is layaway?" And you're just like, you would say, hey, look, save this for me. You put it in the back and do it. But if I remember, Kmart had really good finance programs to do layaway. Them and Sears were the two big layaway people.
Yeah, I do remember Kmart with layaway. My parents would put stuff on layaway that we wanted for Christmas or for like birthdays, and they would just pay a little bit each week, and eventually they'd get it.
That cash register made me think. And again, I was too young; I wasn't paying for anything, but I do remember there was only a handful of places that did it.
Yeah,
like not everyone did it.
Well, I think Walmart just in the last 5 or 6 years got rid of their layaway program altogether.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't even know it was still around then.
Well, our store still does it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's like you pay, I think, half up front, and then the rest is just due by like November 22nd or something like that, or November 30th. I don't remember, but we don't really do it in my section where I work, because we're kind of like a separate division. But yeah, they still do it up front at the store.
Crazy.
But I remember same thing. It was like Walmart. I remember going to, I don't remember if it was JCPenney or Montgomery Ward. One of those had had a program like that, but Kmart was a big one. I do remember that. And
because that same one where you got the video, that dinosaur Dracula, I think he posted one or two. People were like, oh, look what I found from 87. And it was a thing from Kmart, and it had forget what was on it, but it was like, here was the layaway slip that you.
Oh yeah. And it was like this kid had a great Christmas.
Yeah. That was the thing. It was like, this kid had an awesome Christmas. And it was a Kmart. It was a Kmart layaway receipt. Yeah. The decorations that you saw in the video. I mean, the 80s were huge with tinsel garland all over the place. So it's just, the red, it was big and it was thicker than some of the ones you can find now. Walmart still has tinsel garland, but they're a lot shorter than some of the ones that they had back in the day. And I as soon as I saw those trees, the first thing I thought of was I have a picture of me helping my mom put the garland on our little teeny tiny Christmas tree when I was 3. And I don't know. It reminded me of that, but it looked great, really nostalgic, Okay. I do got to ask if you guys could go back and buy anything at a Kmart, from your childhood, that you could have today, what would it be? The aircraft carrier from G.I. Joe. That didn't even take me a second. Yeah. I want it now. If I wasn't so cheap, yeah, I want the aircraft carrier. Easiest. Pretty expensive. I don't remember if our Kmart actually carried that. That and or the hovercraft. Oh, the hovercraft was cool. Yeah. Yeah. Those are two things I wanted, and then not saying I had a bad childhood. I always wanted those things, but my parents were like, "Where are we going to put them?" There's nowhere for us to put them. Oh yeah, my friend had the flag, and it took up half his room. It was it's crazy. What about you, Nicholas? Optimus Prime and Megatron. Oh yes. I talked to my parents about this recently because I wanted clarification from memory, and they were like, it's not exactly how you remember it, but because Megatron was a gun. My mom was very anti-gun, so I was not allowed to have Megatron at all. Makes sense. Yeah. So there was something in my head told me that the whole reason I was not allowed to have Optimus Prime was because I wasn't allowed to have Megatron. And my parents, did the math. They were like, if you can't have him, you can't have it. And then they were like, no, as Optimus Prime was the most expensive one. We could buy you 10 of the little ones for the same price of one Optimus Prime. And yeah. Yeah. Fair. It really was. I would love to have that cyborg toy, man. Honestly, if I could go back and buy one thing, if I had a couple of options, I'd probably buy several of the Ninja Turtles, and keep them mint on card. Just that'd be nice. Or just some of those really hard to find figures. I think would be great to have. But maybe some. I'm also a big fan of starting lineups. I'd go back and and get those. I love them. I have a little bit of a habit with them. I buy them, I put a hook on them, I make a Christmas tree out of them.
That's cool. Yeah, that's super cool.
Maybe some of the bigger mask toys, because like I had
I
had the dune buggy and the motorcycle, but like I didn't get to have the really big ones, you know.
I had their board game. Mask had a board game.
Really?
Mask had a
Oh,
board
that's
game.
awesome.
I
Man.
don't remember that.
Yeah.
I had it, and I look. It was funny. Like my parents were like, "Oh, maybe you read the instructions." I'm like, "Nah, I'll just make up my own, like my own rules."
Sounds right.
Yeah.
But no one ever wanted to play with me because I would never read the actual rules or understand how to play it. I'd be like,
Yeah, I get it. Okay. What would you guys say is your happiest memory or moment from Kmart?
it's going to sound cheesy, but this family time, right? I mean, it's you knew when you were going to Kmart, it was like a family trip. We had to drive. There was one Kmart in one area. It was still probably about a half-hour drive each way if we went to Kmart, right? So if we were going, well, we had to do that for groceries too, unless you went to the local one. I lived in the middle of the mountains in Pennsylvania, but it was family time, right? You would go there, you would spend some time, and then used to be a McDonald's right next to it. So you would go shopping, get your stuff, get a Happy Meal, and then take that half-hour drive back home to get it there. But these things always just bring back time with family, because I was a kid, I couldn't drive myself, so I always got to spend time with my mom or dad. They were busy working a lot, so I get to spend some quality time with them going there.
That's cool. Nicholas?
I just have warm memories of I think I had the exact same thing with KB Toys, but it was just just walking through the toy aisle and looking at all the stuff. Like, even though I didn't get, I had a great childhood. I'm not going to say I didn't. I got a lot. But just looking at all this, just remember, just looking at the various different things. But it's because it is hard for me to separate what I got at Walmart versus what I got at Kmart.
Yeah, of course.
So memory, now that I'm inching closer to 50, it's hard to remember exactly where it was what, but
right.
Going through those toy sections, even though look, everyone had the Sears and JC Penney books, but nothing blew your mind as a kid to walk down those toy aisles at any of these department stores and just see lines up of G.I. Joes or all that kind of stuff. It was mind blowing. The books are cool, but
it's like you go to Target now, and every time we go to Target, my kids always, of course, take us to the toy aisle. And as you're going, there's a lot of space in between the various sections. And I remember as a kid, just literally it was pegged in such a way that there was no space between this row of toys and this row of toys. They maximized all their they really planogrammed it, I should say. They maximized their whole output. So
they were packed. They were absolutely packed. If you go back and look at some of the G.I. Joe stuff, they'll have a full aisle and it's packed. It's this, and they're all full. And
you had to dig behind the figures to look to see. It wasn't just
we would hide them too. Yeah.
Well, you would also hide them so that.
But they were close, right? I mean, it wasn't space like you see nowadays.
So. Yeah, but now the same figure is going to be the one all the way back, but then it was different. They just put them on the hook,
That's right. That's right.
But like you said, you were hoping I don't have this one. You can't get it today. And you're like, maybe if I sneak it in the back, no one's going to buy this next week when we're here.
I'm the only one who's going to think to put it back here.
Yeah. No one would know.
No one else will think to look here.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, it's the same for me. Just going and looking at all the toys. It's what I remember most. But also probably my dad teaching me how to drive in a Kmart parking lot. And we like came so close to hitting the wall one time. He was like, hit the brake. And so it's like he had to like hard turn the wheel so that he wouldn't hit the wall, just little things like that. But I remember going in and it had like a distinct smell because it had like the little counter with the, the food stuff there. And then later on when Little Caesars was in there and you could smell the pizza and just, it was great. So it was pretty amazing. But now we come to my favorite part of the show, which is a little segment I call Gag Me with the Spoon, where we do our best impression of our least favorite part of one of these things here, probably one of these commercials. As a guest, I'll let you go first. So, Vinnie, why don't you start us off?
This one's always the hardest for me because they're always so, I don't want to say cringy. They just don't age well. Again, I still felt like the whole, getting the mom the garbage disposal to getting them a pan. They want something special, and then it's coming out as a pan. I was like, that's so 80s. Like, like that would not travel. That would not fly today.
Yeah.
I think they did that one year for, what was it? Was it Malcolm in the Middle? That for Christmas or birthday he got her a garbage disposal.
Yeah, maybe.
And he was so proud of it. And then like the wives in the family are like, that's not a good gift.
What do you think, Nicholas?
I went with the cordless phone commercial.
Nice.
where he's holding the phone that's been clearly wrapped like individually from the base and it's like it has no option other than to be a cordless phone, and he's looking.
I think the antenna was up too, wasn't it?
Yeah, the antenna was up, and I think the antenna was even wrapped.
I think it was, yeah.
And he goes, "How did I know what it was? Lucky guess."
That's the one I was gonna do too. I have that written in. So how do I know what it is? Lucky guess. It's so cheesy, but like so great at the same time. Oh man. But G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you guys think is the other half?
If Sears is busy with photos, you can always get your portraits at Kmart for $16.99.
That's right.
If you are king of the retail world, maybe don't treat your employees so badly they revolt and you end up going out of business altogether.
Oh, that's a good one too. I like both of those. So I said if no one's half the battle, the other half is just waiting for the blue light special, which is like, that was like a big thing back then. They'd and apparently they introduced it just to push like slow moving merchandise, and then it became like a big thing. And they would always, turn it on and you'd hear the sirens and the blue light would be flashing. They'd be like, attention Kmart shoppers. And yeah, it was like just a big thing. So I don't remember it being done that much when I was there. But also, I think if I was in the middle of the toy aisle, I probably wouldn't have cared anyway. Like I think I would have just like been focused on the toys. Guys, this has been a lot of fun talking about Kmart and some of these random commercials with you. Tell me about your shows or anything you want to plug. Why don't we start with you, Nicholas?
Pop Culture Roulette. We talk about anything and everything pop culture, from sports to movies to TV we just did an episode on monster trucks, where we had a bracket. We decided what was the best monster truck in our opinion.
Was it Bigfoot?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I want to give it away. You might want to go listen.
Go listen to it first.
go listen to it, because
I could only name two: Bigfoot and Gravedigger. Like, that's all I know.
See, I could only name Bigfoot, so you're ahead of me.
There was a lot of research that went into that episode.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them, and so I picked a handful of them and we put them on a bracket and we talked about them and rated them.
Nice.
Episode that hasn't come out yet. It will be out by the time this one does. We just talked about the color green and our favorite green characters or green things in pop culture. So
that's cool.
We just do whatever, but you can find us over on Facebook at Pop Culture Roulette or Instagram at Pop Cult Roulette because they wouldn't let us have those 3 extra letters.
I understand.
And anywhere your podcasts are found, you can find us. So,
right on. Yeah, good stuff.
I'm hoping the Jolly Green Giant's at least in your top 3 there, Nick.
It did not make the top 3. He was. We did talk about him.
Okay.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter, maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember if he made the list at all, quite honestly.
As long as Hal Jordan's on there, we're probably okay.
All right, well, you might not want to listen to that episode then.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Nick's
kidding.
like, we're striking out here, guys.
Yeah. No, I'm curious now to see who won. That's What about you, Vinny?
I keep saying this every time. I'm thinking about starting my own podcast, but I'm just really lazy, guys. Look, I need a computer that can do editing stuff. I'm not supposed to put it on my work one. So if I do get that, I'll get there. But I say this every time: support your local businesses. Jerry's got one out there that he works for, and I know other people that have it, but they're pushing hard out there. And Kmart's not around to kill them anymore, but Walmart and Target is. So go support your local businesses.
Yeah, for sure. And check out Huey and Bex as well. So
they're getting old. We don't do much out there on our Instagram anymore.
Still some cool pictures though.
Yeah, it's just like I hate being that guy that posts like, here's my dog laying here. Here's my 14-year-old dog laying there. There's only so much you can do with old hound dogs, but we still do some small kickbacks, and we try to take them places when we can. But I'm just not going to be that guy that force feeds my dog laying backwards every single day for people to look at.
Yeah, I gotcha. Either way, there's some cute pictures, so go check it out. Make sure you check out Pop Culture Roulette as well, and you can hear Nicholas also on a few other shows here and there as well. 80s Flick Flashback and moving panels and things like that. So make sure you check them all out. Guys, thanks again. This was a lot of fun. And I'm going to end it by saying we've got it and we've got it good. So check us out on our social media pages, which you can find at linktree.com/totallyradchristmas. And if you're feeling like saving at Kmart, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com. Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas from your Kmart Christmas store. Later, dudes.
Worn special nightgowns, the gift in your dreams. In many styles, a sail is our theme. Some have lace, some satin with a bow. All are so cozy, you'll laugh at the snow. Long flowing robes, so soft, so fleecy. Robes for your daughter, price so giving is easy. The sale is at Kmart for only 4 days. Come in for savings and our warm Christmas ways. Kmart, we've got it and we've got it good.